Welcome to Gilmore Girls, where today we're taking a deep dive into the life and legacy of Lorelai Gilmore, daughter, mother, innkeeper, and one of the most iconic characters in television history. Let's explore Lorelai's journey, from her privileged beginnings in Hartford to forging her own path in the quirky town of Stars Hollow. We'll follow her triumphs, her heartbreaks, her evolution, and why her story still resonates decades later. Let's begin. Lorelai Victoria Gilmore was born on April 25, 1968, to Richard and Emily Gilmore, a well-off, highly respected couple in Hartford, Connecticut. From day one, Lorelai was raised to follow a specific path: elite education, high society engagements, and eventually marriage to someone of equal stature. But even as a young girl, Lorelai resisted conformity. She was witty, rebellious, fiercely independent, always more interested in carving her own road than following the carefully paved one her parents laid out. That resistance turned into a rupture when, at just 16, Lorelai became pregnant by her boyfriend, Christopher Hayden. Her parents were devastated, and talks of marriage and cover-up plans followed quickly. But Lorelai refused. She didn't want a life chosen for her. She wanted freedom. After giving birth to her daughter, Rory, Lorelai made a defining choice. She left home with her baby in her arms. Striking out on her own, she settled in the quiet, quirky town of Stars Hollow, where she started a new life with nothing but determination and a suitcase. Stars Hollow was a world away from the structured, formal life Lorelai had known. It was warm, eccentric, and welcoming, and it gave her the space to build a life on her own terms. She found work at the Independence Inn, starting as a maid and living in a converted potting shed. It was hard work and money was tight, but Lorelai was determined. She was raising Rory as a single mom while slowly working her way up to executive management. During this time, she formed the close friendships that would shape her adult life, most notably with Sookie St. James, the inn's chef, and her eventual business partner, and with Luke Danes, the gruff diner owner who quickly became her emotional anchor. Still, independence came with sacrifices. Lorelai was completely estranged from her parents for years. That distance meant freedom, but also loneliness. When Rory was accepted into the prestigious Chilton Preparatory School, Lorelai had no choice but to ask her parents for financial help. Oh, they agreed on one condition: Lorelai and Rory would attend weekly Friday night dinners at the Gilmore house. Thus began a new chapter, not just for Rory's future, but for Lorelai's strained relationship with her parents. At the start of Gilmore Girls, Lorelai is in her early 30s, managing the Independence Inn and raising teenage Rory. Their relationship is more like best friends than parent and child, filled with fast-talking banter, pop culture references, and deep emotional support. But beneath the fun lies real tension. Lorelai wants Rory to have everything she never did: a great education, opportunity, choice, but she also fears losing the closeness they share. As Rory grows into her own person, Lorelai is forced to reckon with letting go. Her romantic life remains complicated. She dates Max Medina, Rory's teacher, and they even get engaged, but Lorelai calls off the wedding at the last minute, realizing she's not emotionally ready. Then there's Christopher, Rory's father, who reappears in bursts. There's history, love, regret, and the nagging feeling that they might still work someday. But their timing is never quite right. And then there's Luke Danes. Luke isn't flashy or smooth, but he's steady, loyal, and always there. Over time, their friendship slowly transforms into a romance, but even that love story is anything but simple. Meanwhile, Lorelai's relationship with her parents remains a roller coaster. Friday night dinners swing from awkward silence to explosive arguments to surprisingly heartfelt moments, as Lorelai struggles to find common ground with Emily, whose love often feels conditional. And Richard, proud, aloof, but deeply caring, provides his own quiet support. Professionally, Lorelai dreams of more. She and Sookie eventually open their own inn, the Dragonfly Inn, a dream, years in the making. It's a huge step forward, proving Lorelai's ambition and resourcefulness. Through all of this, she keeps growing, learning to balance motherhood, independence, ambition, and love. Years after the original series ended, Lorelai's story picked back up in A Year in the Life. Lorelai is now in her late 40s, still with Luke, still running the Dragonfly Inn, but now facing new challenges. Richard has passed away, and the grief leaves a deep mark. Emily is spiraling, and their already fragile relationship takes another hit. In a moment of crisis, Lorelai goes on a soul-searching journey, literally, hiking in the California wilderness, hoping to find clarity. She returns with a deeper understanding of herself. She decides to marry Luke, not out of urgency, but because she's finally ready. They weed in a quiet, magical nighttime ceremony in Stars Hollow. And in the final moments of the series, Rory tells Lorelai that she's pregnant. A full circle moment that echoes Lorelai's own youth. But now Lorelai is older, wiser, and ready to support her daughter. Just as she always has, Lorelai Gilmore isn't a perfect character. And that's exactly why she's so compelling. She's strong, smart, funny, and loyal, but also impulsive, emotionally avoidant, and at times selfish. She's someone who tries hard not to repeat her parents' mistakes, yet often makes her own in the process. Her journey explores major themes: independence versus security, parenthood versus friendship, tradition versus reinvention, emotional freedom versus vulnerability. As a mother, she redefines the role, raising Rory with love, trust, and openness, but occasionally struggling to enforce boundaries or face hard truths. As a daughter, she navigates decades of tension with Emily, constantly renegotiating what family really means. As a woman, she reclaims her narrative, choosing when and how to love, to build, to dream. Lorelai shows us that maturity doesn't always come in a straight line, that you can be capable and still scared, that healing takes time, and that even with a messy past, you can build a meaningful future. Lorelai Gilmore remains one of the most enduring characters in television. Not because she's flawless, but because she's real. Her life is a mosaic of contradictions, independence and longing, rebellion and responsibility, laughter and sorrow. Through it all, she proves that your past doesn't define you. That family can be chosen and reshaped. That love, in all its forms, is worth fighting for. And that being a strong woman doesn't mean being invulnerable. From the moment she stepped into Stars Hollow, coffee in hand and a twinkle in her eye, Lorelai Gilmore invited us into a world of heart, humor, and humanity. And years later, we're still watching, still learning, still cheering her on. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this deep dive, don't forget to like, subscribe, and leave a comment telling us your favorite Lorelai moment. Until next time.